We confronted untrustworthy Chinese technology and telecom.
Why did Germany decide to go against American interests this time and lift the restrictions on Huawei's 5G technology? As of 2019, the United States has started to impose sanctions on the Chinese firm Huawei through a variety of methods. They assert that the 5G technology made by Huawei has security flaws. The United States is simultaneously attempting to get allies like Japan and the European Union to boycott Huawei. It may be claimed that the U.S. has used every trick in the book to stop Huawei. After 4 years of blockade and penalties, Huawei managed to independently build 5G chips despite the U.S. blockade, proving that it was not just unaffected by the restrictions. The circumstance, nevertheless, appears to have changed recently. Currently, a few European nations have started to reverse course and have withdrawn the embargo on Huawei's 5G technology. The United States once requested that Germany forbid any use of Chinese telecommunications equipment, particularly in Germany, but Germany refused this request. Germany also said at the same time that Huawei will be permitted to participate in the development of Germany's internet communications infrastructure. Everyone believes that Germany and the United States have maintained their relationship. So why did Germany decide to turn on the United States, this time by lifting the embargo on Huawei's 5G technology? Will this affect upcoming sanctions imposed by Europe against Huawei? Before we proceed, kindly return the favor and like and subscribe. Also, consider supporting the work we do by joining our Patreon. You can also buy me a coffee, links in the description and channel bio. In the past, Huawei, the top supplier of communications equipment in the world, had a significant strategic impact on the development of the 5G network. In many parts of the world, Huawei has created reliable working connections. In order to offer telecom operators in European nations a full spectrum of 5G solutions, Huawei has not only developed numerous R&D centers and production bases in Europe, but also established long-term and reliable agreements with them. These partnerships include building infrastructure as well as maintaining and optimizing networks. However, according to the U.S. administration, Huawei's accomplishments are intolerable. As a result, the U.S. government has sanctioned Huawei numerous times and attempted to persuade its allies to exclude Huawei, notably by prohibiting American businesses from shipping sophisticated equipment to Huawei and barring Huawei from utilizing Qualcomm's 5G chips. Many European nations have also declared they will forbid the use of Huawei's 5G equipment in response to the United States' request for a boycott, bowing to pressure from Washington and preventing Huawei from promoting its goods around the world. Among them, European nations like Italy, the UK, and Germany have all taken steps to sever their cooperation with Huawei. They chose to remove Huawei equipment and were even ready to offer significant subsidies to encourage local operators to undertake this significant adjustment, even though it will take at least 5 years, even though doing so means giving up some of the progress being made on the creation of the 5G network. Why then do these nations that formerly renounced collaboration with China suddenly declare that they will reinstate the Huawei ban? Germany presently has roughly 82,000 mobile communication stations, with Huawei technology being used by about half of them, according to estimates from the German railways. Germany must swap out the Huawei-supplied equipment if it wants to remove all 5G infrastructure associated to the company. The conclusion is that the National Rail Company of Germany may incur dismantle expenses of up to 400 million euros or roughly $450 million. If Huawei equipment is entirely banned, Germany will suffer significant financial and technological setbacks, with losses pegged at up to 5 billion euros. Additionally, projects in the German railway sector would see a 5 to 6 year delay in progress if the German government were to immediately prohibit Huawei equipment. Of course, this is just adding salt to injury for Deutsche Bahn, which has been losing money for the past 3 years. However, the choice made by the German government also increased economic pressure. According to reports, Huawei and the German government have agreed to a 12 billion euro contract. According to the agreement, Huawei will give Germany 5G network construction tools and technologies. According to figures, Germany will be required to pay more than $1 billion in liquidated damages if it decides to stop working with Huawei. For the German budget, this doesn't seem to be a modest sum of money. German Chancellor Scholz finally issued a statement on September 12, 2023, confirming that Huawei and other Chinese 5G equipment had no security risks and that he would continue to grant licenses to Chinese operators to install 5G equipment after carefully weighing the pros and cons. This signifies the conclusion of Germany's 2-year security inquiry into ZTE and Huawei hardware. How will Huawei be affected by Germany's decision? In reality, a crucial issue was highlighted in Germany's response to the US, namely that Huawei and other Chinese 5G equipment are not engaged in surveillance activities. This not only contradicts American acts, but it also conveys a message. Germany is capable of making decisions on its own, free from American supervision. The removal of a Huawei ban by Germany is unquestionably terrible news for the United States. It will eventually imply that the United States will be unable to prohibit Huawei products under the guise of equipment security. I believe that the United States faces a significant battle here, but Huawei unquestionably benefits greatly from Germany's decision and receives a powerful message from it that Huawei's technology is trustworthy and safe. Due to its enormous advantages in the number of core patents and technical reserves, Huawei has firmly established its #1 position in the globe in the 5G industry according to current trends. In addition to being more economical, Huawei's 5G equipment is also more cost-effective, even outperforming the Open RAN solution jointly introduced by the US and Europe. The German government's choice was made in part because of its reliance on Huawei, but it was also challenging for them to sever their relations to China. Statistics show that the volume of bilateral trade between China and Germany has risen to 1.7 trillion yuan. A number of well-known German businesses like Siemens, Mercedes-Benz, Volkswagen, and BMW are also very dependent on the Chinese market. Regarding Germany's decision to work with Huawei once more, China also expressed its more earnest willingness to collaborate and gave Germany access to a larger market. The German government is more open to cooperating with China as a result of their tight ties and shared economic interests. Before we proceed, let me say that one of our objectives is to help the weak, sick, and underprivileged. Lewin is a verified sickler and has lost 2 siblings to this dreaded disease. Friends, by contributing to Lewin's GoFundMe campaign in the description below, we can help him have the emergency bone marrow transplant and bilateral hip replacements in India and the Netherlands that he needs to be well. Thanks. While technical and national security concerns may play a role in the German government's decisions regarding Huawei equipment, they must also take economic and commercial interests into account. The German government will face difficulties as a result of Huawei's technological leadership and the closeness of bilateral trade links between China and Germany. The German government must therefore take these concerns into account and make wise judgments. Italy actually took the initiative and lifted the prohibition on Huawei 5G first. Italy made a prominent announcement about the lifting of the embargo and the authorization for Vodafone's Italian unit to utilize Huawei 5G equipment in the middle of last year. Due to the fact that the British are intelligent, they adopted a similar strategy a few years ago. Communication specialists came to the conclusion that Huawei's equipment does not actually feature listening devices after conducting numerous rounds of evaluations. Additionally, it made it known in the open that Huawei's 5G technology is secure, dependable, and safe. Numerous nations have refuted the justification that the United States intends to utilize Huawei technology to spy on citizens. We can now see that Huawei is gradually removing the technological barrier erected by the US. Huawei unexpectedly unveiled a new smartphone during Raimondo's visit to China last month, garnering enormous global attention. This phone combines China's most cutting-edge 7nm semiconductor technology and Huawei's most recent Kirin 9000 as processor. Regarding this, several industry experts have hypothesized that Huawei has achieved mass manufacture of 5G chips after overcoming the 1,079-day chip bottleneck. Huawei is anticipated to reclaim its proper market share after surviving US chip bans. It is anticipated that Huawei's mobile phone sales will rise by 20% by the middle of 2023, hitting sales of 40 million units. This sequence of events demonstrates that Huawei is persistently promoting technological innovation and product improvements, garnering increasing customer recognition and market share growth despite facing sanctions and pressure from the US. Huawei, despite US efforts to discourage its development and global market support, has advanced technologies and products ahead of the US, making US sanctions pointless and likely to fail. And now, let us hear from you in the comment section below. Keep in mind that more videos will be up soon, so be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell in order to stay up to date with new video alerts. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.